Hello. Let me show you how you can view things for the optical mark reader project. Go to filter test down here. There are two things you might want to run: save and display example and run the filter. Save and display the example is going to load whatever page from the PDF you specify here, save it as an image, and then open a window so that you can run your regular filters on that image. So for example, if I say page 1 here, we can scroll down and see what happens. PDF helper, I ask it to give me a particular page image from this PDF document, and I save it as a P image. Then I have the P image save itself to the hard drive using the name page whatever.png. And then we create a new display window for that image. And this is just like your video filter project where you can load filters. So let's run it, except I'm going to run it with page 2, and we can see what happens. It takes just a minute to run. Okay, so here's what the image looks like. You might be dissatisfied with this because it looks like it's loading in the middle of the image, not the upper left-hand corner. And actually, if we look here, you see page2.png. That's what just got saved. If I open it up here, yeah, you can see that this is what the whole PNG file looks like. So my window isn't loading it from the upper left-hand corner. What's happening is the window is loading centered on the middle of the image. It's just that the image is too wide and too tall to display the whole thing in the window. So I'll show you a thing you can do to fix that in just a second. For the moment, let's run a filter. So I'm going to hit F to load the filter. I'm going to open this one called Display Info Filter. And I'll hit S. So display info filter hasn't apparently done anything. All it's done is change it to black and white. So let's look in display info filter, and then I'll show you a thing you can do. Well, one thing it did do is it actually displayed something down here. It says running filter, 0 nearly black pixels and 1.7 million nearly white pixels. Okay, so let's look inside the display info filter. Here's what it looks like. So right now what I do is I get the black and white pixel grid. I loop over all the rows and columns. If a grayscale value is less than 20, I count it as black. More than 235, I count it as white. And then I print to the console the information that you saw there. Okay, so I want to illustrate something that you could do. So here I've written a method called crop. So I'm going to give it my grid, and I'm going to give it the upper left-hand corner of where I want it to start and the lower right-hand corner of where I want it to end. And it's going to make a new grid that is just rows 0 through 500 and columns 0 through 500. So in other words, I'm cropping the image to just the upper left-hand corner of the image, and now I'm replacing my original grid with this smaller portion of the original grid. And I'll loop through and do all that same stuff, and then here I'll set the pixels for my image to be my new smaller grid. And I'll rerun it now, and you can see that this will help us visualize it a little bit better. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to run display, whoops, let me show it to you, display info filter. And now when I hit S, this is clearly the upper left-hand corner of my original image, and you can see it's square now because I loaded 500 rows and 500 columns. So I would recommend that you use this kind of thing for getting your filter correct. Here we are back in filter test. The other thing you can do besides save and display is if you want to run your filter on the image without displaying anything, you can do run the filter. You see that I do the same process where I access a particular page number, I make a D image out of it this time. But now I actually create a new instance of my display info filter. These filters you wrote, they're just classes like any other classes, and so you can run a constructor to make one. And now I'm manually running the process image method on this D image. And it's not going to display anything, but it's still going to go ahead and run all of this code here, and it's still going to output the things that it's supposed to output. So that would be an example if you want to run to make sure it's doing something sensible on one page before you do your final code, which is which is looping over all the pages and trying to run that process image method on all the pages. I hope this helped.